1, sync. I have to fucking get water.
Right now?
Didn't you literally just get water?
I'm dying, sorry. This is gonna get cut out.
Is
no,
it?
keep it in.
No. I on the last episode that I edited, I didn't notice until after I had already rendered the video.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't cut out the beginning of the recording. Before the sync.
I thought that was intended.
No. I normally start it at least on sync or what we say after it.
Yeah.
But I just left it okay, I'm recording.
I think we should keep it like that. It really adds to the experience. It makes us stand out.
Yeah, the cold open, as I think they call it in the industry.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Triple Baka podcast is back on. We are returning once again. I have not watched any anime the past 2 weeks.
Sadly, I have only watched 2 episodes of Zabungle these past 2 weeks. I've been very busy.
Yeah. And what about you, Sayu?
I have also not watched anime these past 2 weeks for the first time since we started this podcast.
Wow.
All right. Even though I have not watched anime, it's not because I'm not consuming anime content. You see, I've been too busy searching for every AniTuber known to man.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been reading books. Well, I haven't been reading that much, but I've started reading books. Yeah. I recently have any of you heard of the book titled Otaku Japan's Database Animals? I'm sure I've heard of it before. I'm sure I've mentioned it before.
You've mentioned it. You mentioned it last night.
No,
okay.
I've never heard of this before.
I lose track of what I talk about to which people, okay?
You literally mentioned it to me an hour ago.
Okay, I'm obsessed. I'm literally obsessed. But I started reading it, and it's extremely interesting. It has changed everything. Not really. But it is very interesting. And I hope to become the most educated AniTuber of all time. I've noticed that AniTubers mention books, however, they never read them. And there's actually quite a lot of books written by Westerners and Japanese alike about the otaku condition and other such things. Mm-hmm. One that I am searching for right now that I cannot find anywhere is by this guy. His name is Patrick Galbraith. And he has written so many books. I have a bunch of his other ones. I have the Moe Manifesto, which is a great book that I've heard recommended a whole lot. He has another one called Bridging the Gap Between Mecha and Moe that I want to read. Mm-hmm. Because according to him, they're linked in some way. Otaku and the Struggle for Imagination in Japan, which sounds a whole lot more black-pilled than it is. All of this guy's books are super white pill shit. They're otaku culture is great, and the future of art and everything.
Yeah.
But one of his most important books that he's read that has tons of information in it that covers just everything is called the Otaku Encyclopedia, which was written in 2009. And it has tons of interviews with industry insiders and influential people, just lots of shit. Goes over deep lore, anime history, translates lots of things. And I literally cannot find it anywhere. I have everything else. They're all just PDFs. I found out my manga reader app can also just open any PDF, so I can just also use the manga reader app as a book reading app.
Yeah.
And no matter how hard I try, I've tried everything. Let me tell you how hard I have tried to find this stupid fucking book. Yeah. I have, done the tried and true method of just searching, on Google, the Otaku Encyclopedia PDF. I clicked on every link in the first 4 pages, and they're all fake links. There are so many websites about just cataloging info on like every single book in existence, going as far as to actually have like scans of the first like 3 pages just to get you to sign up and download some virus. There are so many fucking book websites like this. But I've also scoured all of the 4chan JPA WorkSafe request archives. I can't find that anywhere. I can find lots of people recommending the book, but I cannot find anybody who's actually published or uploaded like a PDF file or an EPUB or whatever. I found out there's apparently a method that people on the 4chans use, where you can actually have a JPEG file that is secretly a RAR file. And this is how people share a lot of things on 4chan. They'll upload a RAR JPEG, where it looks like a JPEG, but the file size is really big, because it's actually a RAR file with shit in it. So I tried and I looked for like every picture in like these book sharing threads, and nope, it's not in any of those. I learned how to use IRC, because there's this really, really giant book repository called BookZ on like an IRC channel that's been around for like fucking 300 years called Undernet. And it's not in there either. They have everything else that this guy has ever written except for his most important book.
Yeah. I'd like to jump in here. You said that was Patrick Galbraith, right?
Yeah.
You can get the book for $6 free shipping on Amazon.
I don't want to buy things.
I'm sorry. Maybe purchase the book. I'm just throwing that idea out there.
I'm gonna purchase the book. I've purchased books before. I just wanted to download it.
Yeah. Oh no, I get it. Having the digital copy would be very convenient. It does not. Amazon doesn't appear to have like a Kindle version or anything. Unfortunately. Yeah, it's just paperback.
It is. However, I did find. It is on the Internet Archive, able to be read for free. The Internet Archive has a really weird, like, ebook system, where they have a catalog of basically every book in existence. And some of them you can literally just download the PDF files. I don't know how they get away with it. But then other ones have like this rental system where totally for free, you can just say, I want to borrow this book for an hour. And they have so many copies, sometimes they only have one copy. For the Otaku Encyclopedia, they only have one copy. But if nobody else is borrowing it at the time, you could just read it for an hour.
Oh.
And as long as nobody else wants it, you could just keep reading it. It'll just automatically renew every hour. Which is an interesting system. I don't know how they do it.
It's a library. It's a library. It is technically considered a library if they do it like that. So
it's just an actual library.
Yeah.
But that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
If I don't want to buy it, I can read it there at least.
Libraries are based.
Yeah, they're really cool. Actually, I literally did check to see if like this book was in like my local library, because there's a library like not far from my house. It's a pretty small library, but it's part of, like, the whole, like... The library near my house is just connected to the big network of libraries, and if I wanted a book from, like, the other city, then I can just be like, hey, order it, and then they will. And it's free, because libraries are free!
And they're based!
Yeah.
I just checked my local library website, and they do not have it, so...
Yeah. No, they got one... in the city between where I am and where you are.
Oh shit, really? That's interesting.
If you don't trust me to censor out the city names.
I mean, no, I know exactly what city you're talking about, and I can believe they'd have one over there.
Alright.
Anyways, yeah.
Anyway, I can't find it. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, moral of the story, this book's hard to find.
Even though it's not. Like, it's their most notable work.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not online.
Just buy it.
Books are literally, like, better than YouTube videos. Who would have known? Just, like, reading through some of these... The amount of learning that happens within the allotted amount of time set to reading it versus watching like dumbass YouTube videos made by people who dropped out of high school
Yeah.
You would be surprised.
Yeah, no.
Except for our YouTube videos, which are pure education.
Yeah, mine will. You watch mine when I make it. I'm about to upload.
No,
this
this podcast is the most education you'll ever get out of your life.
That's another reason I haven't watched anime is because I actually scripted and recorded a thing, and now I'm editing it, and then Kaden Live crashed and undid all my progress, and it didn't autosave like it's supposed to.
Oh my god. This is why I use HitFilm. It's generally much more stable, and before it crashes, it prompts you to do a hard save.
How?
I don't know. Black magic.
Anyway, that's enough for this segment. Now we're gonna move on to the main, which is 2deep4u.
This topic was chosen entirely outside of my control because I was streaming when they chose it, and I don't know what it means. Could someone help me out?
Have you never heard the term 2deep4u?
I've never. Somebody help me out.
Okay, we gotta go to Urban Dictionary.
You motherfucker! I was about
that
to say
prompt
that.
was for Sayu.
You fucking stole my bit. You stole my stolen bit. You son of a bitch.
Start searching before I search first.
This is a reminder to go to patreon.com/SayuDes.
Is that real?
No, it's not real. Don't go to that site.
That's not my Patreon, if it's real.
They're impersonating.
2deep4u. When someone or something's artistic value goes beyond a person's perception, leaving that person lost and confused. On the flip side, this may be used to sound like a total douche-tard, because you think you're better than everyone else, often used by hipsters.
We're avoiding the censors.
Yeah. We're breaking the conditioning.
This definition is from 2010. So.
Alright, so.
That explains the use of the word hipsters.
I forget. Have I told the story about Poppin' Music Guy on the podcast? I have, right?
I don't.
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
At least once.
At least once. Poppin' Music Guy is a very much so 2deep4u guy. One of my first experiences with that guy was sitting in the cafeteria at my college and seeing him force a guy to watch an anime. And that anime was fucking Paranoia Agent.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about the people who like Paranoia Agent, you know that they are very much so that guy.
There's people who like Paranoia Agent and people who will inform you that they are a Paranoia Agent enjoyer.
Yes. I did enjoy Paranoia Agent. I thought it was a very well-written, very succinct series with a very good point. And the way this guy was presenting it to this other dude he was sitting next to in the cafeteria was like, oh, you don't get it. No, this anime is, like, really hard to understand. You have to be, like, an intellectual to understand this anime. No, you don't. Like, I mean this in the nicest way to Paranoia Agent possible, but it kind of just ham-fists its message at you.
Yeah, it does that thing. It does that thing that, like, a lot of, like, more intellectually, like, centered anime do, where they'll kind of be, like, a big, like, you know, oh, what's it trying to say? Until, like, the last episode where the main character will turn to the camera and say, and that's why escapism is bad.
Yeah. Evangelion's very notable for doing this as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the other one that's touted as, oh, it's so confusing. Oh, it's so, like, you just don't, you wouldn't get it. Like, no.
Even Lane is, like, if you actually start paying attention in, like, the last episode, Serial Experiments Lane is pretty overt about its messaging near, like, the end.
Is Lane 12 episodes or longer?
It's 13. Though one of those episodes is half a recap episode.
Why the fuck have I not watched it yet? Like, for real. It's so
2deep4u.
It's so short. I guess, you know, I have been watching Mecha. I have been watching Mecha, so to me, a normal length series is like 40 episodes now, so
I thought of this topic, honestly, because I was reading Database Animals.
Yeah.
And, okay, something funny about this book is that it's only 88 pages long. It's not a very long book. And the, like, foreword by the translator before, like, the actual original book starts, it lasts 18 pages. So it's like over an eighth of the book is just like a small introduction by Hiroki Azuma, the original author, and then like 10 pages of just the translator going on about like background of the book and like Azuma's inspirations and like his background in like philosophy, major college, university, whatever the fuck. And it's really funny. I got super lost during like the translator's introduction because the way that Azuma writes is kind of very like casual. It's more like speaking to like normal people. And even though he's talking about all of these like high academic concepts like postmodernism and all this other bullshit, he still talks basically just in pretty normal everyday language and leaves everything easy to follow. Whereas the translator's introduction is nothing but like what your brain would like fill in as like total like nonsense if you were in like a dream about like being in college and not understanding any of the textbooks. Like it's a lot of what they write is just way too obtuse, like that it has no right to be. Like I could follow it, I could figure out what they were trying to say, but I could always imagine a much more intuitively understandable way to write everything that they did.
That's pretty good.
And so I just thought, too deep for you. Yeah.
Okay, so what's it? Is there ever an instance where you think the work is actually too deep for you?
I mean, Lane was too deep for me when I watched it. I was like 13.
Yeah, but you figured it out eventually, right?
Yeah, I mean, it still affected me a lot. I still like understood it. Yeah. I guess I would say one instance where something was like legit like too deep for me is like have you ever heard of a movie called Anomalisa?
Oh god, wait, actually, maybe. Anomalisa.
It was like a stop motion film. It has really good animation, but I don't like it.
Yes, I've heard of this.
Yeah, Anomalisa was like it gave me like this feeling of too deep for you. Like, I don't know. I'm sure that if I related more to the movie, then I probably would have understood something.
Well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, understanding art, is like, like that's really what it comes down to. If you think about it, you have to be.
I guess the thing is,
to it.
the situation of that movie is like so unbelievably simplistic. Like the movie has. Like, the number of scenes in this movie can be counted on, like, your hands.
Yeah.
Because the movie takes place literally in, like, 3 rooms. Like, a hotel hallway, a bar, and then the guy's house. And it just felt like nothing in the movie, like, had any point. It was just, like, this guy, like, dates a girl, and then he doesn't like it, and then he goes home and is depressed. Like, that's the whole movie.
Oh my god. Yeah, back to what I was saying, right? Like, it's very, like, when it comes to artwork, relating to it is, like, paramount. You need to do that in order to really get it, If you are a depressed teen / young adult, you're gonna have a much easier time understanding and relating to Shinji and Evangelion, as opposed to if you're some 40-something boomer watching the show for the first time who's never experienced what it was like to be a Shinji,
Yeah, I would say, like, relatability isn't so much what I would call it. I would call it, like, it needs the ability... You have to have the ability to resonate with it.
Yeah.
Which is a way more broader, like, vague thing to say. But, like, okay, another movie that I didn't quite get when I first watched it was, The Wind Rises by Hayao Miyazaki. And it was kind of interesting because Miyazaki is a guy who's famous for being able to write movies in a way that, like, universally, like, everybody can get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though they have a lot, like, deeper emotions in them. They're not so much, like, complicated as much as they just resonate very deeply with, like, basically anybody who has lived. Yeah. But when I was watching through, like, every Miyazaki film back when I was first really getting into, like, anime films when I was, like, 14, I watched The Wind Rises. It wasn't out for that long at that point, so it was, like, a new Miyazaki movie to me. Mm-hmm. And it was, I'm not going to go into the plot of the movie, but I would say that I didn't relate to the movie at all at this point, because it's kind of like, the guy spends only, like, the first couple scenes of the movie as a kid, and then the rest of it is kind of about, like, how his childhood or whatever, like, all of these dreams that he had are, like, what has compelled him through his life, and, like, kind of how he was almost simultaneously able to, like, breeze through his life while also not, like, fully growing up in a certain way. Like, it's kind of like almost, it's clearly, like, almost vent art of a kind for Miyazaki himself, that I can see probably a lot of, like, regrets that Miyazaki has now that he's, like, growing into old age in this movie. And I didn't get any of that. But something about it must have still, like, struck a chord with me, like, personally. 'Cause, like, I guess I did see, I guess, like, as I became older, elements about the movie started to become relatable. And because it's such a well-constructed movie, scenes from it would just stick in my head, even though I hadn't watched it in years. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no.
Resonation.
Yeah.
This is a 2deep4u podcast.
It really is, yeah. None of you understand it. None of you listening understand what it is you're hearing.
It's like pretentious art shit.
You think we're speaking English?
I have to watch
How do you
Ergo
even
Proxy.
know we're speaking English?
I really have to watch Ergo Proxy, because I've heard that is the quintessential 2deep4u anime. And by that, I mean it's like a pretentious mess.
Yeah. Oh, what's that?
That's
the
what
other
I've
one.
heard.
There's another one. What is it? Technolize, I think it is?
No,
Yeah.
Technolize is like actually deep.
Okay, yeah, but like it is too deep for us.
It is too deep for you.
Yeah.
It was too deep for me. I used to, like, give Sayu shit for, like, saying, oh, the episode 1 doesn't even have a dialogue in it. And I was like, oh, it's too deep for you, bro. But also, I tried to watch episode 1 and then I dropped it.
Yeah. No, that show is very hard to get into, from what I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, not really because it's too deep, as much as, like, it's just, like, anti-fun.
It hates
like, it's a thoroughly, like, emotionally bleak anime.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my favorite brand of 2deep4u is an emotion you feel towards someone when they watch something and miss the point entirely and try to tell you what the point is. My favorite thing, and I can't even talk about this on the podcast yet because Sayu has not played the game, but when Danganronpa V3 came out and people first reached the ending of the game,
Yeah.
there was a shitstorm. Like, a massive one that still split the fan base to this day, where effectively the split is there's a bunch of people who understand the point of the ending and really enjoy it, and then you have people who are like, no, the ending was shit, it's terrible. Literally, this happens, and it makes no sense, and the other people are like, that's the fucking point! Please keep up.
It's not just that it's, like, the point. I remember, I don't remember, like, specifics, but, like, when V3 came out and I played through it, by the way, I was forced to play the English dub, and, you know, I still loved the game, but oh my god, I wish I could have played it with the Japanese dub.
Yeah, the only reason you couldn't play it with the Japanese dub was because you played it on my Vita copy, which only has the English one built in.
Yeah, I mean, the Vita copy only has the English one built in, but I also didn't have a memory card, and the internal storage of the Vita TV didn't have enough to download the voice bank. So not only was it English, it was also in, like, really crunchy audio. Like, it was low quality.
Oh god, the Vita version of that game.
There's so much dialogue in that game that they couldn't fit it all onto the cartridge without, like, crunching it.
Oh my god, V3 is a ridiculously big game. Like, there's so much in that game, it's ridiculous, but...
Either that or they just cheaped out on the cartridge.
No, it's probably the file size. Each Danganronpa game gets, like, twice as long as the previous one.
We can check. They're all on Steam, and I own them. Hold on.
Okay, but that's not the same. That's not the same file size because that's like bigger textures, bigger like higher poly models, everything.
Well, wouldn't that be on all of them then?
No.
Oh.
The Vita version's a separate version. It'll have lower quality textures.
Actually, everything in the I kind of wish that I played the Steam version because like everything in the Vita version was so crunchy looking.
But you played it for free off of my copy, so
yeah,
it looks like.
But I should have supported the creators. You know,
you can still do that now. Go buy their new game. They have a new one. Plug in World's End Club, even though apparently it's not very good. Unfortunately,
It's not all the same people. It's like one of the writers.
It's the original creator, isn't it?
Like, I think he does, like, scenario design, but it's not the same character designer or anything else.
It appears that Danganronpa V3 is approximately 15 times bigger than Danganronpa 1. So.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that sounds about right.
The Danganronpa 1 was also a PSP game.
Okay, yeah. Well, comparing it to Danganronpa 2, it's, like, still, like, 2.5 times bigger.
Wasn't Danganronpa 2 also a PSP game?
Yes.
Wait, no.
Don't think about how they got that game on the PC.
Wait, no, it was 4 times bigger. Never mind. I'm bad at math.
Don't think about how they got the game on PSP. Like, literally, I don't understand it. Anyways, World's End Club was directed by the creator of Danganronpa, Kazutaka Kodaka.
Yeah.
If anyone listening has never played Danganronpa, literally go do it. Like, you're gonna think, oh, this is like a visual novel, and you're not gonna be into it, and then you're gonna think like it's a little cringy. But I promise you, getting through chapter 1 will hook you. At least maybe chapter 2. I know that's what happened with Nyuu, was getting through to that point.
I hope that when I start, like, if I start making videos and they get any notoriety, I hope people start, like, accusing me of being, like, really pretentious and too deep for you because I talk about my emotions and feelings rather than just if something is good or bad.
Maybe.
Because I still all the time wonder why. Like, Digibro, rest in peace. People accuse Digi all the time of being like this authoritative, like, I know better than you kind of like figure, and obviously they were like really egocentric and honestly arrogant, like people weren't wrong, but they never really said that things were like too deep for people. Like they mostly just said that, like, you know, everybody's interpretation is worth noting. Like, even if you are stupid, it's not like your interpretation is less valid because of that. Mm-hmm. That was always, like, their thing. That everything was, like, totally, like, subjective when it came to meaning. And that narratives are ultimately constructed in the viewer's head rather than by the author themselves. And I bet that's gonna happen to me if I actually make YouTube videos.
I'm hoping to make one here soon. I mean, I have a couple sort of sitting on the on the burner, but I have one of them in particular that I really, really want to make. That I'm hoping that I can maybe start scripting at some point. Who knows? Maybe we can make it a collab. That'll be fun.
Hell yeah!
You know, the two shows I want to like just sort of cover in general, Ideon and Evangelion and their connections and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff, because there's not really any videos on YouTube about that. The most you have is like Caribou Coon's like little video about the Ideon and how it's like a cosmic horror show, and he sort of generally talks about how it like inspired Evangelion a little bit in the video, and that's it. That's the whole video. And, you know, it's a good video. I really like that video. It's very good, but, you know, nobody's covered this thing about Ideon, which is what I find to be one of the most fascinating things about it in general. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know why anybody's like not publicly seem to acknowledge the connection, because like I'm pretty sure Ano is very directly, like outwardly admitting to the fact that he's very just inspired by like Tomino shit.
Yeah, not only does he admit that, he literally has been on record saying that he thinks that Be Invoked is better than End of Evangelion. Which is very on brand. It's very on brand for him. And, you know, like, the more I think about it, Be Invoked is it's so much more directly understandable to the audience than End of Evangelion is.
Yeah.
Like, End of Evangelion, as much as I love that movie, it feels like it goes out of its way to be super obtuse to the audience.
It does, really. I think it's honestly, okay, everybody's talked about End of Eva at this point, but I think the obtuseness is almost like a meme of sorts, like to Ano, because, like, I recall hearing that Ano specifically wrote the ending of the TV series to be, like, so direct to the point of, like, literally forgetting about the fiction of the show and just, like, speaking to the audience.
Yes.
And people were so upset by this, like, dude, what happened to the lore, dude? And so he was like, fine, you want fucking lore?
No, I like, outside of the entertainment value of End of Evangelion, which, admittedly, there is a ton there. End of Evangelion is a fantastic movie from a watching standpoint.
Evangelion is honestly, like, End of Eva, is honestly one of my favorite movies ever created from a purely aesthetic standpoint. The animation is just perfect.
Yeah, it is a super good-looking and sounding movie with a really, like, for the most part, an incredibly tight script. And just generally, like, a lot of just fan service-y send-offs for a lot of the good characters in the show. And by the way, by fan service, I do not mean sexy. I mean, like, the fans like the character and they get a good
there's plenty of that, too.
Oh, don't you worry, there's plenty of that! Editor, I'm so fucked up. Wait, can we show that scene on YouTube?
Yeah, people do it all the time.
Alright, editor, I'm so fucked up.
You do see the booba.
You do see the booba, yeah. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying. I believe that the ending of the TV show is a much better finale to Evangelion than End of Evangelion actually is.
I mean, I do think they're really complementary.
They do work together, yeah. If anything, though, I've walked away from End of Evangelion more confused about the point of the series than I did at the end of the show. So, you know, there's something to be said about how it's just a confusing, like, gibberish disaster.
End of Eva is, like, the 2deep4u anime.
It is. It really is. Like, the regular ending of the show, Evangelion, is, like, super understandable. It's...
Yeah.
Like, to the point where it's literally, like, there is an entire, like, series of scenes where they just break down how the world works to Shinji. And he's like, at the end, he's like, I get it now. I finally get it. I cured my depression. And then he gets the omerito.
No, literally, like, it's almost like a fucking meme. Like, he just like, I get it! And then he says, like, the message of the show, and then, like, it explodes, and everybody's like, you got it!
Literally, he's surrounded by people, and they're just going, omerito? Or they're going Among Us. Depending on the version you watch, of course.
Yeah.
No, but
I think that was a very egregious change from the dub team.
Oh yeah, they should have kept the the emeritos. I'm not really sure why they changed it to Among Us, but you know.
Wait, did you guys? Wait, it was the other way around. I thought.
Oh shit!
In the original,
they were like, Sayu's right, because the original they go Among Us, but then in the new one, because they were like, the weebs will really like this, they changed it to Omerito.
Yeah.
Because the dubbing team for Evangelion really cared what hardcore otaku thought.
You are worthy of my grace.
No, not that one. The old one.
God. Either of them, to be honest.
The new one cares so much to the point of not even understanding how to translate anything.
For real, though.
Yeah.
God. Let's see. Well, we got our obligatory Evangelion thing out there.
Yeah.
That had to be brought up in this episode. It literally had.
Are there any 2deep4u video games?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
2006, I assume.
Him up. No, literally.
Literally, people didn't get it.
No, they did not get it. Another game people did not get is Sonic and the Black Knight. It is just... That game is too deep for most people. Even though its plot is very direct in what it's trying to tell you, I have never heard anyone do a serious analysis of the game's plot because it's a stupid blue hedgehog.
Another game.
I'm looking through my Steam library right now, and I have this game. It's not a game. It's a VR experience connected to the internet live service called the Museum of Other Realities, which is a digital museum that you access from the comfort of your own home using virtual reality technology. And they're always adding new exhibits and stuff. And some of it's really cool. But thinking about going to museums reminded me of the time when I went to New York and I visited the Modern Art Museum, the Museum of Modern Art in New York.
Oh, God.
And I know that there's a whole lot of modern art's so bad, modern art's so pretentious. And I normally am just you know what, art can be whatever it wants. I really don't care. If people find value in the banana on the wall, then that's fine. But something about modern art really gets to you when you've walked through endless hallways of just shit that doesn't mean anything to you, that you really don't care about. Stuff that's always they have these little panels up explaining things about all the different art pieces, and they're always about sending a message. And it's always the same message of just art can be anything, or political, or some other thing.
Political.
And something about modern art really gets to you after you've walked through 15 floors of fucking bullshit. And your feet are kind of tired for the past 6 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
I was really feeling the 2deep4u.
I have been to an art museum exactly one time in my life, and it is an experience that I will literally never fucking forget.
Yeah.
It traumatized me. Okay, I'm gonna name drop a place. It's not close to any of us, so no docs, but in high school, I went on a trip to the Portland Museum of Art. It was more of a classical art thing. It was for a European history class, I think it was.
Wait, yeah.
So we were all going to see the old paintings and stuff there,
Yeah.
And so. To be noted, in this European history class, I was 2 years older than everybody else, because it was one of the last history classes in the school that I hadn't taken.
Yeah.
So I was just fuck it, I'll take it in my senior year, and then I was in there with a bunch of literal children. It was fucking really weird. Easy A, though. you know?
Yeah.
Anyways, so I was, like, literally in a group of, like, fucking people that were just 2 years younger than me, and it was a big gap, let me tell you. You know, when it's like 21 to 23 or something, it's not that big of a gap, but when it's literally 18 to 16...
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I think most of them were actually 15. Ugh. So, anyways, so we were in Portland. We were just standing there looking at the artwork. And one of them, like, eventually the whole class meets back up, and our teacher's like, yo, everybody go to lunch. There's some lunch places nearby. Just wander the city. That's safe. Yeah. And so I escorted all of this group of students I was with off of the like the campus of the museum, and we headed out into Portland to see if we could find a restaurant. My phone was like either not working or something. I don't remember what the problem was, but I was relying on one of the other ones to like one of the kids to like navigate us with their phone, and they got us unbelievably lost. Like so fucking lost. And it was like almost summer by this point, I think. So, you know, it was very hot. And like, you know, it was hot. We were all fucking sweaty. We could not find like a restaurant to eat at anywhere near this stupid museum. We eventually wandered into like this street fair that was just happening, and we got something to eat there, which was cool. We watched some performers, I guess. But by the time we were walking back, we hadn't had anything to drink or proper to eat. Like, all of us just ate elephant ears. Yeah. We hadn't had anything to drink or eat for like an hour after walking through a fucking city at like fucking 85 plus degrees. Maybe even 90 by that point, who knows. And we get into the art museum and we're like, we need somewhere to sit. And this is one of those museums that tried to like fucking streamline it so people would always be walking through, you know? So that they can turn over more visitors, so there's nowhere to fucking sit. Eventually we found this off to the side little, like, exhibit of, like, fucking art museum, or, like, of, like, a fucking, like, art piece, right? And there were beanbags in there for you to sit and, quote-unquote, watch the show. So, we sat in there for, like, an hour or two, and my time in that room was nothing short of, like, traumatic. I was getting MK Ultra'd the whole time. In that room, so we were in, like, one corner, back to the, like, back left, right? Yeah. And on the wall, directly in front of the entrance, there was, like, a stack of TVs. Most of which were fake. 4 of which were real. 3 of them were displaying, like, little recorded videos. One of them was smashed in with, like, a brick or something. Yeah. And then, on the playing TVs, there was one of them where it was just videos of dogs shitting, and people picking up that shit in plastic bags. Yeah. The other one was one of the others was footage of a flood. And the other one was like a news report of some kind. And that was what was playing on the TVs. And then if you turn to the right, there is a projector projecting onto the wall next to you. And just take a guess at the image that it was projecting.
I don't know. Just some bullshit.
It was a tub of butter.
Ooh.
A tub of butter with, like, butter sticking out the top of it. It was like they took another tub of butter and scooped all of the butter from that one out and tried to, like, pack it into the other one. You know? Yeah. That's what I was looking at. While I was, like, basically fucking, like, dehydrated and dying. And it's important to note at this point that the entire room was lit red. Yeah. And eventually, every about 15 minutes or so, the TVs would turn off, and the projector would stop projecting butter, and start projecting a dude standing out in, like, the Grand Canyon, holding his arms up and going, "Yes!" Yeah. "Yes!" And that was the experience, and it was like this every 15 minutes, and we didn't talk about anything. We were just sort of sitting there, dying in presumably hell. Like, I don't know what else, and I've never fucking forgotten this experience. I don't have the pictures of the room anymore, but God, I wish I did. This thing was so awful, and I got nothing out of it. I don't know what they were trying to say. I even now, like, reflecting on it, when I'm not, like, dehydrated and starving and dying, like, I'm just, like, what was that? What the fuck even was that? That was too deep for me. I don't get it.
Yeah. One of the most memorable things from the New York Modern Art Museum that I looked at was there was a dark room. It was very dark. And there was a number of places to sit, basically just like a small set of like bleachers, basically.
Yeah.
And it was just, there was like 13 TVs, like old CRT TVs. This thing had apparently been like set up and maintained since like the 80s. And it was just nothing but like old advertisements and like really loud like techno music of the time. And like shitty, like kind of like uncanny CG renders of like heads, like low poly untextured heads.
Oh.
And sitting in that room was pretty, like, quite an experience, you know. I thought it was like a real jam. I was kind of like getting into the music, you know. Mm-hmm. It was really like my aesthetic, and everybody else was like, that room made me sick, and I was like, I guess I'm new type.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other one was the other one that I remember was just a giant canvas, which was nothing but blue. And let me tell you what, it was the most blue I had ever seen.
Wow. Sayu, have you ever had any experience with any 2deep4u media?
I'm gonna be honest, I like can't think of anything to say on this.
Oof.
You were the one that chose this one out of all the others.
I merely agreed to this.
I listed like 5 things, and you were like, "That's a good one."
Well, I thought you guys would say more wrong things. This is your guys' fault. My only role here is to fucking debate any wrong opinions. All right.
What? Okay. What did you think we would say? Talk about what you thought we would be wrong about.
I thought
maybe, who knows? Maybe you're right. Maybe we will be wrong about those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't. I don't know.
Putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you literally could have just fucking assaulted us on some of these. Holy shit.
Yeah. Like the ones that I suggested?
Yeah. Reading these.
We should keep... I told you, we should have a Discord server where there's nothing but a channel that we post topic ideas in, so we can just, like, look at them.
Yeah.
Sayu, you said after this, gives us another excuse to rehash the gatekeeping debate.
Yeah, then
let's talk about intellectual gatekeeping.
Yeah.
Which is what 2deep4u is.
I would like to preface this debate by saying that I am a very stupid man. I am not smart in any way, and I should be gatekept from all of society.
I used to be the smartest man who ever lived, but unfortunately I installed Twitter, and it's all been downhill from there.
That's the scrap. Mm-hmm. There's the scrap iron scarecrow fallacy. All right.
The what?
The what?
I'm getting gatekept. It's too deep for me.
I won the debate. All right.
Editor, quick, put up scrap iron scarecrow so everyone else can
literally,
be
what is that?
It's here. Okay. I can grab an image of it right now, and you can get confused along with me. Like, Sayu, of all of the cards to just like say, why this one?
I don't know. I just like tried to think of the word for like some kind of fallacy I could point out.
Did you mean a straw man?
I should actually make up fallacies and say them in arguments.
I don't know. Fucking. I don't.
Intellectual gatekeeping.
I don't think that I don't think that intellectual gatekeeping is like a real thing.
They're being gate kept by their own stupidity.
If
Intellectual gatekeeping is someone being like, man, you know, I really want to get into what's like an example, emulating video games, but I'm just not good with computers. They've like gatekept themselves.
Yeah.
You know?
well,
there's so many times when people are like, "Oh, I just don't know how to emulate games."
Is not having enough interest in something to pursue it a form of gatekeeping?
I wouldn't. That isn't necessarily what that is.
They're being gaslight gate kept.
Yeah, it's all that's left is getting girl bossed, and then they've
been gaslighted into like thinking they're too stupid to do something. But if they just tried,
exactly.
If they just Googled it,
Sayu,
the entire line of thinking is I don't want to go in. I don't want to fucking look. I don't want to spend all the effort that it takes to learn that.
No, that's not the line of thinking. The line of thinking is getting intimidated by
they think
how
they're
incapable.
They think they wouldn't get it, but they would. Because it's so easy to emulate
the
games.
reason why they think they wouldn't get it because they haven't invested the time, and they don't want to invest that time. They want to invest that time in other things. It's just a lack of interest.
No, it's not a lack of interest. It's a like buildup of intimidation about something.
Yeah.
It's getting intimidated by the task and choosing not to do it, as opposed to, you know, I could emulate video games, but I don't really want to. That's like where I am. I don't have the interest. I'm gatekeeping myself from emulating video games.
Is that gatekeeping?
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't care whether or not it is. That is irrelevant. Also, intellectual gatekeeping is 100% a thing, although the kinds of people who do it are not the kinds of people who should be in communities anyways. Because...
Are you talking about, like, people who go around and are like, this is too deep for you?
I agree.
Yes.
All gatekeepers should be
people who, like, prescribe the too deep for you label.
No, Sayu, we've talked about this. Gatekeeping is good. It keeps communities from collapsing in on themselves. But at the same time, gatekeepers are cringe.
Yeah.
They are the last bastion, but they are the ones who will die. You know, Jesus died on the cross. Gatekeepers are gonna die.
Gatekeepers,
protecting people from playing Animal Crossing.
In the yin yang symbol, like gatekeepers are like the black dot in the white part.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're the evil.
Yeah.
They are the yang. They are the darkness.
No, but they are not the black part. They're the black dot. No,
they're
in the white
the
part.
little bit of the little bit of the yang and the yin.
Within the yang exists a trace of the yin.
Yeah. So
a yin clock is yang twice a day.
Holy shit. No, so that guy I always talk about, Poppin' Music guy, he is an intellectual gatekeeper.
Yeah.
He is the man who does the intellectual gatekeeping. You don't understand, paranoia agent. It is too deep for you. And then he slams down his little staff thing and he makes everyone in the cafeteria cringe.
Is this the true meaning of gaslight gatekeep girl boss?
Yes.
That shit is like what 99% of gatekeeping boils down to, though. That is like what
I don't think the thing with gatekeeping is normally like an intellectual thing. I mean, it's normally like I hate you. It's normally just like I hate you.
When it comes to the 2deep4u discussion, that's what I mean. That's where all the gatekeeping comes from.
Okay, well, too deep for you. That's all it is. When you say too deep, that's you gatekeeping somebody.
It's a term that basically means intellectual gatekeeping. But yeah.
No, too deep for you. It's got two sides. One half of it, it's a way that you can describe a piece of media, but on the other half, it is a way you can gatekeep someone from like considering themselves having experienced a piece of media.
Also I think the way that most people use too deep for you is also like it's an insult that you give to media that just sucks. And but thinks it's good. You know, they have the audacity to actually think they're saying something.
God, don't even get me started on the general public and getting what something is saying. Like, oh, holy
The curtains
shit.
are blue, Ano. Go
The
home.
curtains. Okay. Oh my fucking god. It's time for the fucking curtains rant already. Every once in a while, this little meme goes around where it's like the art teacher is like, and the curtains are blue to symbolize the character's sadness, and it's like. And it's like the student like talks to the author and they're like, the curtains are just blue because I felt like it.
I just decided to say that the curtains are blue specifically, you know?
Yeah. And it's like this weird anti-intellectual, like, English teachers bad, understanding art is for pussies, art doesn't mean anything, it's all popcorn entertainment.
Yeah, especially books.
Especially books, yeah. It's weird because, like, when it comes to literature, there is the biggest divide I've ever fucking seen between people who get it and people who don't. You know?
There's
you can
people
tell,
who read the Harry Potter.
Yeah, there's people who read the Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings, and there's people who sit
Okay, isn't
down.
the Lord of the Rings actually good though?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
I've read those books and almost no others.
It's
don't
okay.
read
The
either,
only
it's fine.
booch I've read are The Hunger Games and Harry Potter. Like, that's literally it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then you get the people who are like, yes, the 1984 is a very, very poignant commentary on authoritarianism and how it breaks the human spirit.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, like, the gap between these two fucking groups is insane. And in no meme is it exemplified more than the curtains were blue. Holy fuck, I hate that meme. It sets me off every time I think about it. It makes me think that there are people in this world who live and breathe and vote who can't interpret media in any way.
If it makes you feel better, voting doesn't do anything anyway.
True. This is the Black Pill podcast now.
Okay, we gotta save this for the politics episode.
Oh god. Oh no, I'm not ready for that one.
Yeah, we'll wait a little while.
Please don't listen to these people's opinions on voting.
Wait.
Go vote.
If we
That's
do it
really
now,
important.
though, then
That's
if
a really
we ever
important
get
thing to
popular
do.
in the future, we can just say, "Oh, that was a long time ago, though."
Oh god, yeah, you're right. We gotta do it soon. Oh god, I don't even want to think about what that episode.
No, when it comes to blue curtains, like, I feel like the meme should be like pointing out the way that, like, English teachers normally don't even understand symbolism themselves. Like, they don't understand how to interpret media. They just, like, have to read off things from, like, the regimen of things they are required to teach. Mm-hmm. I feel like that should be the meme of them, like, not even understanding symbolism themselves. But it's the curtains are blue meme is literally just like symbolism is not real.
I had this teacher in my senior year of high school that Okay, so it was an English class, of course, and I read in that English class Siddhartha.
Yeah.
Do either of you know what Siddhartha is?
Never heard of it.
The only like real book I read in English class was the one about the incel. What was it called?
Yeah.
Animal Farm.
1984.
Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah, that one.
I didn't even read that one. In English, I read fucking 1984, and I read a couple other books.
I was supposed to read Catcher in the Rye. I never did the whole amount.
I am the one person on the planet who did actually read that book the conservatives never read.
The only book I read in high school was Animal Farm.
I mean, that's a pretty good book.
No, it's actually really interesting. I feel like I would have enjoyed most of the books I was told to read. I just didn't do it, but like I still passed like the reading tests anyway.
I read Animal Farm in my sophomore year. That's the second.
I've written so many essays about books I didn't read, bro.
Yeah. I remember
Yo, I
in
had to read Animal Farm literally 3 times throughout my high school. Like, what the fuck?
In that one English class that I took with the bad English teacher, I never read Hamlet, and I never turned in the assignment for it, and it still, to this day, sits in my Google Drive with the name Hamelt Sumray. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. First off, you guys got me on a tangent. I read Animal Farm, and, like, okay, isn't George Orwell literally a socialist?
Yes. I do believe so.
He was extremely open about being a socialist.
I'm gonna real-time fact check this.
I haven't actually seen any evidence that he stopped being a socialist at any point.
Mm-hmm. But when he wrote Animal Farm, he was a socialist.
Yes. He was pretty much always extremely open about it too.
My English teacher told me when we were reading that book, blah blah blah, animals, pigs, farm animals, they talk, blah blah blah, and thus socialism bad.
Yeah.
That was like, she literally told us that socialism was bad.
Socialism bad. Yes, I have now fact-checked this in real time. Wikipedia, credible resource, says George Orwell has written many things in outspoken support of democratic socialism. So, Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, so back to Siddhartha. I read this one in English class as well. It should be noted that this English teacher at the end of this, or at the midpoint of that year, was fired and arrested for raping a student.
Amazing.
Yeah, consider that while I talk about this. We read in that class a little book called Siddhartha that apparently neither of you have read or heard of.
Never heard of.
Nope.
Siddhartha is a book about Buddhism. Mm-hmm. It is very explicit about sense. Buddhism.
Yeah.
It is, I believe it takes place in, India, I think. And it's about a man by the name of Siddhartha who is a monk. He has been a monk his entire life. And he's like, I think he's like 20 or something like that. He has a monk friend, right?
Yeah.
And he is unhappy being a monk. And he's not getting what he thinks he's getting out of it, you know? Mm-hmm. They keep telling him, if you just pray every day, if you're a monk, you get rid of all your material possessions, you don't own anything, you don't do anything, you know? You don't have sex, you don't do any of that. You will reach enlightenment, and you will move on, and you will become a Buddha. And that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to, ascend, basically.
Yeah.
And Siddhartha has this, like, crisis where he's like, I'm not getting anything out of this. This is not how I want my life to go.
Well, maybe he should just stop wanting things. He's not doing it right.
His friend's like, hey, Siddhartha, stop wanting things.
Yeah.
And Siddhartha's like, no. And then he quits being a monk. And he, like, most of the story is him going around working all these different jobs and, like, being, like, a rich guy at some point, having, like, you know, these earthly possessions and desires and experiencing life. And then at the end of the day, he decides, no, I'm still not happy. This isn't for me. And every time he decides he's not happy, he just leaves, right? And every time he's going somewhere, like, there are multiple instances in the story where he's doing this, like, boat crossing. There's, like, one big river that he's crossing, and it's the same guy ferrying him every time, right?
Yeah.
And at some point, the boat guy is like, hey, I'm, like, sick. Do you have anywhere to go? And Siddhartha's like, no, not really. And the boat guy's like, hey, do you mind, like, if I train you to do the boat thing and you help me? And Siddhartha's like, okay. And then the boat guy dies, and Siddhartha's just working as a boatman. Just a simple, he ferries people across the river, he gets enough money to eat, he's enjoying his job, he really likes what he's doing in life. And then his monk friend, like, finds him again, and he's like, hey, Siddhartha, what's up? I haven't seen you in forever. How's the, fucking bitches thing going? And Siddhartha is like, oh, it's fine. And when the monk friend sees him, he doesn't see, like, this dejected dude who's, like, just a cog in the system, part of society, you know? He sees someone who's, like, reached enlightenment, and that's how the book ends.
I see.
It is directly told to you that Siddhartha has reached enlightenment.
Spoiler warning for Siddhartha, by the way.
this book is like ancient, and nobody's gonna read it outside of high school. I don't care. Anyways, like the point of the story is that, like, above all else, enjoying your life and being happy should be your priority.
Yeah, you know, just living.
Yeah.
That should be your focus. And it's a very good message from the book. And I shit you not a single other person in that classroom got it. Not even the teacher.
Yeah. What did they say about it?
I don't remember. Just a lot of like explaining basic plot details and going, yeah, there you go. That's the book. What did you not enjoy? That teacher was terrible, by the way. Just absolute dog shit. Like, that guy was supposed to be like a coach. But instead of giving him one of the social studies classes like all the coaches get, he just got English.
You know, I really don't know where I stand on 2deep4u, because I feel like I intuitively want to say, you know, nothing's too deep for you. You know, you can just interpret anything the way that you want to. But also, sometimes I feel like people literally just do not see parts of the story. You know, I feel like they don't get it. I can't get over it. I can't get over the raw, visceral feeling of 2deep4u.
I'm gonna be honest. In cases like in like a classroom, I don't believe that like 99% of the people in there, including the teacher, have probably even read it.
Yeah.
They probably literally read the cliff notes in class.
I always read the assignments for school, but that's because I kind of liked reading. It really depended on the book, of course.
Yeah.
There were some books that I thought were
novels.
Terrible. I read this book. It was about like this guy who just moves out to the middle of the wilderness in like a bus and like fucks off, and then he dies. That's the book. And like the meaning of the book was technology bad. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is like fucking terrible. I want nothing to do with this. If
they didn't get isekai'd in like the first like few minutes of reading the book, I stopped. I lost interest.
If they get isekai'd, I've lost interest.
Okay, it depends. It depends on how they get isekai'd. Actually, okay, no, right. I've said this before about isekai. You can tell if an isekai can be good based on if the protagonist is a woman or a boy.
Yeah. Unironically.
If it's a male protagonist, it's probably gonna be shit. If it's a female protagonist, it's probably good.
What's that one book or that one anime series?
Escaflowne?
Ascendance of the Bookworm.
Yeah, that one's also good.
That is like from what I hear. Good. That is the good isekai from what I've heard from like recent years. Which is, you know, that's good to hear. I've actually considered giving that one a watch.
There's actually factually not a single bad isekai. They are all just too deep for you.
I think you're just wrong. Sorry.
Sorry. The fact that you said that means that you're not intellectually capable of having this conversation.
Oh god, I'm being gaslight gatekept. Sayu bust. Help. Gas keep gate curl light box. Oh god. Oh no, we're floundering.
Oh, no. We're floundering. I mean, we've been at this for like an hour.
Guys, say a joke.
Oh, we've been at this for like an hour and 10 minutes.
Fuck.
So
I feel like this conversation has gone nowhere and hasn't been about nothing, which it's just too deep.
That's what podcasts are.
Yeah. This entire episode has been too deep for you, the audience. That's why you're bored right now.
Yeah. All right. No. Let's check it. We're going to voicemails.
All right.
Voicemails.
Did I upload the last episode to receive a comment yet? All right. Oh, SpeakPipe had a UI update. No new voicemails though.
Damn.
Now let's check the last episode. I always say I'm going to cut this out when we're, like, floundering and just searching for the comments. But I never do. Oh yeah, the last episode was consoles versus PC. You know, I kind of like the I kind of like the aliased, like, new like branding we got going on with the white and the 3 colors.
Yeah. No, I think our visual design's very good.
Yeah. Very self-congratulatory right now.
We did it.
I was not the one who did it, so...
Yeah.
We did it, Reddit.
I like your visual design, you.
Yeah, I'm kind of a... Visual design is kind of my passion. Alright. This Sonic anime called 3 Baka is really hyping up to the showdown between Tom of Tom's House and Jeff Thu, spelled wrong, of Mother's Basement. Wait, actually, is that how you spell it? Actually, it just looks wrong.
Some people spell Jeff that way.
You mean, Geoff?
No, that's actually the way you spell his last name.
Oh, yeah. No.
How?
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm sorry, Robert. You were spot on. I hope the season finale delivers. Also, I only know about the FM Towns because there's a version of Puyo Puyo on it.
You hear that? You hear that, Jeff? I'm coming for you! Jeff Thu of Mother's Basement.
I guess I didn't know how you spell Jeff's last name. But that just doesn't look right.
Alternatively, if you want an anime YouTuber who I actually like, Caribou-kun's really good. Go check that guy out.
Yeah, no, that guy great.
Yeah,
there was another great anime YouTuber I found recently, but I forgot their name.
Oh,
I'll get back to it later.
Fuck, there was another thing I was gonna bring up. I don't remember.
Little known anime YouTuber, Giguk, makes good videos sometimes.
Oh, I remember now. No, we did look up the FM Towns at some point and looked at its game library.
Do not confuse the FM Towns with the FM Towns Marty. They are separate consoles.
They are separate consoles.
God,
and if you look into the FM Towns Marty, I shit you not, like, apparently it just has a ton of eroge on it. Just
yeah.
So much.
Dude, like
holy shit.
Every Japanese exclusive console where it's easy to self-publish, it's all eroge.
Yeah, all of it.
All strip mahjong.
Fucking based.
Every version of the FM Towns was a home PC type thing. So they all had the capability of, self-publishing to some degree. So, of course, they're all going to end up with a ton of eroge.
Yeah.
I really like the concept of those, old PC consoles. Because a lot of early PC games weren't just, published for, DOS or whatever. There was, other competitors, that had their own operating systems and everything, where it was mostly, gaming focused.
Mm-hmm.
But they were still PCs.
Yeah.
Notably, here's an interesting one. Apple had a console called the Apple Pippin.
Huh.
That thing is stupidly rare. Just so hard to get your hands on. I don't even want to because it's not a good console, but...
But it's rare. Isn't that cool?
I mean, yeah, it is rare. I would love to see one.
Oh yeah, the anime YouTuber that I thought was really cool, was this guy. He only has 200 subs, called Translating Japan. And his slogan is all about cool Japan. And if you've ever heard of you guys know about cool Japan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the stupid cultural buzzword.
Yeah.
He has one video where he just goes over, basically explaining the concept of database consumption from the book that I'm reading right now.
Oh.
His whole channel, it appears, was set up where he would just read these academic books and stuff, autobiographical books about Japanese culture, otaku shit, and then kind of water them down into like a very mass produced, or not mass consumable, easily understandable, like short 6 to 8 minute long videos. But they literally only have one video from 11 months ago. It looks like this concept was dropped immediately.
Oh.
Which is so sad, because that video was really good, and it's what convinced me to read the book. Though, it appears, if you check their Twitter account, which is not linked on their page, that they're still working on the next video. They just kind of, like, got caught up in university stuff because they're a university student.
Oh, yeah, that would actually make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to make my debut on AnimeTube at some point here in the future.
If you have any amount of subscribers, you know, eventually Karibo-kun will talk about your video in his AniTube digest.
I currently have 130 plus, so you know, we'll see.
Also, to any viewers, I'm pretty sure it is Karibo-kun, but I will continue to call him Karibo-kun. It's kind of like my thing.
Yeah. No, he's a good YouTuber.
Yeah, no, they're really great.
Like his stuff.
I've been under the assumption that you've been calling him Kuribo-kun, as in the Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Karibo. Editor, quick! Karibo!
I have to be writing down these timestamps.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, well... okay.
Alright, are we good?
Yep,
Is that
I think that's it, bros.
Alright. Well, what a fucking disaster of an episode, am I right?
God, this episode
every
was a
week,
mess.
every week. I don't think it was that bad. I think we had some good discussion.
There was one.
At the very least, I got to tell some stories.
If I just cut out a bit of the floundering, you know, and leave like the 5 minutes of conversation left over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the only thing in the episode is my discussion about sitting in that art room.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I'm gonna stop recording.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Who the hell is Steve Jobs?